Hi guys, I'm back, and this is now issue 42 of Build the Classic Routemaster. So, in this issue, we've got a really large piece of the floor panel, I believe. But on the front, it shows a picture of the engine and the front end on. So, I can't remember what's in this issue, but I think it might be quite a lengthy one again. So, let's go down, we'll crack on, and see what's involved. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to crack on. I'll open the parts. And then as normal we'll check them off, make sure everything's here, and then we'll get building. I mean, if this is the issue I think it is, I am really looking forward to it, but we'll soon find out. Okay, yeah, I think it's going to be quite a lengthy issue, so if you haven't already, grab a cup of tea. I've got mine, well, some. And we'll go from there. So this is what we get in this issue, and this is a nice large floor panel, I believe. Yeah, front lower deck. So let me open this out. It looks like we're going to need all the parts that we didn't use last week as well, so I'll go back through those. But yeah, oh brilliant. So 42A, the front lower deck, and this lovely plastic piece here, various holes in, so that's really nice. We've got the engine cover, which is this part here, this red part, and the camera's flickering slightly, there we go. And we also get some JP screws. Okay, and we should have 5. 1, 2, and I've got 5. Okay, so we're going to need all of these parts. Plus, I believe some of the other parts from last week. But I'll go through them as and when we need them. So, yeah, I knew this issue was coming. I'm just going to put these parts onto the side for the moment because we're going to be focusing our attention on the driver's cab area. And I knew this was coming. We need to take some of this off because this is where we need to fit the sticker under the switch under there. And if you remember when I filmed this, I knew this was coming, but I didn't have them to do. So I'm just going to take off the masking tape and let these wires dangle because I think we're going to be playing with these today. So on the underside of the cab floor, we need to fit the sticker 41p between the brake switch and the contact. So if we go back, I need to reference the other magazine. 41p was the single piece of tape we got in the last issue. So I have that to hand here. Okay, and we're going to need that. So it's actually telling us to slide it in under there, but I think that's going to be rather difficult. So what I'm going to do is unscrew the switch and see if I can move that out of the way. I think that's the best option. Okay, so that's the screw out. I'm going to see if I can gently... Okay, I'm actually going to remove the cable as well, the cable clip, and then refit that afterwards. I just think it's going to make it a lot easier to perform this task. Brilliant. So I've just pulled that switch out of there. Sorry about the camera, the focus is way off. Let me bring you in. Okay, so I've taken the switch off and it wants the sticker over those raised parts there. So I'm carefully going to unpeel this. I'm likely to use the tweezers for this as well. So I'm not going to, I want to get this issue done as quickly as possible, but I'm not going to rush because there is a lot to do. So I'm just going to place that sticker over there. Okay, and I've sit it over that like that. That is how it's showing us to fit. Okay, and once we've done that, I'm then going to slide the switch back in, secure that switch down. Like so. I'm just going to check the operation of the switch. I can do it by eye. Yeah, I'm happy that is still working, so I'm not going to test that. I am confident that is making a good connection. And then I'm going to pop the cable tab back in. To keep them all neat. There we go, and that's that job complete. Okay, that is the first step of the magazine, so that is all good. So next, it says if the screws are tight, if the screws are a tight fit, test fit them to remove excess paint before the final fixing. So that's just a tip for the next step. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to see what happens first. Fit the driver's cab floor 35A into the cab frame 40A. Fix in place with 2 TM screws supplied with issue 41. So these are the TM screws we got in the last issue. So I'm just going to grab them out. If I can. The adhesive stickers have got really strong. The actual stickers themselves have got really strong. So I'm just trying to break into this and get 2 screws out. Come on. There we go. And then I'm going to keep those in there so I can identify them when I put them away. So we need to grab the, I'm going to bring you up for this, the frame. We're going to be working on this area just here. So it's showing us to have it upside down, and then it wants to slide this in just adjust my focus. It's always down to the focus. Okay, so we need to slide this in, and let me try and find the best way of sort of explaining this. Right, so you can see here you've got a screw hole. This focus is really annoying today. Worse. Right, so you've got the screw holes here. They're going to match up with the ones on the frame there. So this is effectively going to have to go up. And then this side, you've got like a support this side. So make sure that the driver's cab floor here fits on top of that if you're looking at upright. Okay, so I'm just going to fit that, and it is quite a tight fit. There you go. That has now gone in. That was a little bit fiddly, and I can't really explain what I did, but I just kept trying to push it in, and I can now see that the holes do line up. Okay, I think it's worth a mention. One of the LED cables here was in the right position to fit in the cutout where the other wires are from, so I've just routed that through there. If you don't, it's going to cause an alignment issue, so just make sure that cable is coming through that hole. But I'm happy with that. It looks good. I'd say this side sits on this support, the red support just here. Okay, so I'm just going to pop this down, and as I say, we're going to secure that in there with two I've lost the screws. 2 TM screws, yeah, which are these. I was just double checking to make sure I had the right steps and there was nothing else I needed to be aware of. So I'm just going to change my screwdriver bit for this. And I'm glad that fits because it shows that the frame is actually okay. So I'm hoping you can see this. I'm going to extend my screwdriver because I'm hoping I'll have a bit more reach. There we go. So you should be able to see that I'm just screwing that in. Okay. Really difficult. I'm just going to put it up this way. See if I can get it from this angle. it's very difficult to sort of get the screwdriver in. Okay, that is one in. I think I'd feel more comfortable to remove the wing, if I'm honest, but because it's quite wobbly and I've already screwed it in, I don't want to undo it again, if that makes any sense. Okay, so I'm happy with that. That is in nice and solid. So that is now, look at that, the driver's cab inside the cabin there, inside the frame. Just check the steering still works, which it does. Brilliant. Okay, so, woo. With that step done, right, okay, I'm going to have to make some room because we need to bring the chassis up. I haven't got that up for a long time. So, here we have the chassis. Now, what it wants us to do first, I'm just going to clear some more room, is using stickers 41O from the last magazine, which are these two individual ones. It wants us to put these on the front where the radiator is here. So let me just adjust the camera angle. Hopefully. Excuse the mess. Okay. Bit dusty. Here and here, these silver parts, it wants us to put the tape over them. And I'm not quite sure the reason for that. Whether it's to protect something or whether it was the wrong colour, or maybe you could see that through the grill and it wasn't supposed to be. Right, I'm just taking one of the stickers off now with the pair of tweezers. Okay. And then it wants us to place that on the front, just like so. And I'm happy with that. And then the same on the other side. Again, nice full issue. It's deceiving because you receive that one part. Sorry about my hand in the way. I'm just trying to stick that on. Okay, I'm sort of happy with that. This one is slightly askew, and so I might actually just change that. Need my other pair of tweezers. that's good. I've just noticed this one needs to come down a little bit. I'm not sure how important this part is, this step, but obviously I like to get it right. I'm just going to move that down a bit. Yeah, okay, that's good enough. Okay, so that's that step done. That is step 3. Step 4. Okay. Is to now fit the front onto the front here. Oh dear, right, okay, this is the issue I wasn't looking forward to. I just remembered what I've got to do. So, we need to mount the front section assembly onto the assembled subframe, which is obviously this part here. It says this is a tricky stage, and before starting it, it's essential that you study the next few steps. This is because several parts need to be placed simultaneously. Take particular care of the parts circled in light blue. Okay. So the part circled in light blue is this LED here, and carefully lift this. This is really heavy. The oh god, there you go. The silver pipe here on the side of the cabin there. So that's where it gets tricky. Fit the cabin assembly so that the curved near side section goes over the near side wheel arch, and the cabin floor sits along on the offside wheel arch. As you do so, guide the push rod 36J to align with the steering bar, which is down here. This is the steering bar. And then at the same time as you position the driver's cab, fit the LED on the end of the LED cable 32E into its near side headlamp. This is easier if you use tweezers. Then at the same time, there's 3 steps. At the same time, as you position the driver's cab assembly, fit the water pipe 40H to the stub pipe 26V. Right, okay, which is this part just here. Didn't you see that? Let me bring you in. That is the stub pipe, and you'll see that there's like a little locating pin on the top there. This part here. So we need to align that as well. And we also need to fit the relief pipe, which is going to go in this small hole just here. Okay. Yeah, and that is it. So, let's have a little crack at this. So, as I say, I'm not sure how well you're going to pick any of this up, because there's a lot to do. I can't really turn the camera around as much as I would love to. I think that'd be a better angle. But obviously I've got the microphone and everything on the other side. So, going to make sure all the wires are coming out from the back. It doesn't say about doing anything with these other cables. I would have thought it doesn't say. I would have thought we would have put these LED cables under these cable tabs, but it's not asking us to do so. So I'm not going to. I'm just going to make them come out the end. And at the same time, I'm going to grab the steering arm down, fit it over the radiator, like so. So I've got it in a rough position now. Hopefully you can see this. So I do apologise for my camera angles. But that's going to go over there. And then at the same time, in fact I might turn this on its side if I dare. That's roughly in place. I now need to get this LED up into this headlamp. So I'm going to use a pair of tweezers. Ah, okay. That went straight in. However, I'm not happy because it's not gone in tight. That is loose. That will fall out. So I'm just seeing how much clearance I've got. Okay, I'm going to leave it for now. I've got enough clearance to get a cocktail stick in there with a little tab of glue, with a small amount of glue, and I'm going to do that. I mean, obviously I wouldn't recommend it. Hopefully yours will be okay, but I am going to go down that route. So with that in place, I'm then going to carefully bring this back, and we're going to focus on the engine here. So we need to position, that's fallen off, we need to position this pipe here. I think you can see there's a locating pin on the bottom of this pipe, and it's going to go in this hole just there. Like so. Hoping this is all going to fit okay. Okay, I feel it's not sitting. I feel it's not in or sitting right. This wheel arch, this side, looks good, but it's not feeling like this cab is sitting in the correct position. So I'm just going to take a little peek this side. I'm going to check the cables aren't caught. Right, that's okay. Okay, I think that's actually gone in now. Yeah, I'm happy that's gone in. Okay, so now I'm going to fit these, the rest of these pipes in to the engine in the corresponding places. So that's come out of there. Wow. Okay, I think that's it. So this pipe's now in. It brings you out a bit of a sweat, this issue. This pipe's in. The relief pipe's in. That is still loose, so I'm going to apply a small amount of glue on there, both ends. And it's also in down at the back, but you should see that when you come to fit this. Okay, so once all that is in place, obviously I need to glue the LED in as well. We are then going to attach all this together with 3 FM screws. Okay, quite a few screws. So we've got 3 FM screws from the last issue, 41. Let's get those out. And they are going to go directly into the cab floor. Okay, so I'll bring the camera up, and you can see there we've got 3 screws, three holes, 1, 2, and 3. So I'm just going to line this up, and you can just about see when it's lined up. So that's 1 started, which is holding this all in position. 2, just there by the seat, and that's gone in. I will extend the screwdriver when I come to tighten these. Okay, sorry you can't see. And finally that 3rd one just up here. Okay, that's bitten already, so now I'm going to extend my screwdriver just for the reach, and then secure that down. So that is 1 in. Another one by the seat. 2. It's a little bit awkward. There we go. 3. That's lovely and solid. Okay, so yeah, again, I'm really sorry about the quality of some of this video. It's so difficult to film. You know, it's a huge model, and trying to get everything in shot is actually quite a challenge in itself. So I do apologise if you can't see anything. Okay, so with that being done, we need a... I've skipped ahead because while I've got the FMs open, we're going to put an FM screw Wow, okay. This might be tricky. And if you see down here, there is a screw hole there. However, there's no easy access for that screw because of the chassis frame. So I'm carefully going to put this on its side. Let me try at this angle. No. So I'm thinking the only way around this is to use the screwdriver from the actual one supplied and see if that will help me. Okay, that has started. So let me see if I can finish it with this. Yeah. Okay, that's gone in. That was really tricky. There's no easy way of getting to that screw. You can see it's like basically opposite the end of this chassis rail. So I started it off with the Routmaster screwdriver because it can just about get in there at an angle, and then it allowed me, now because the screw was in straight, it allowed me to sort of get my Oria in there at an angle, but it went in because obviously it was going in straight anyway. Because I started the thread straight, it carried on. So that's good. I was a little bit of a sweat moment there. Okie doke. So with that being done, fix the near side. So that was step 9 because I had the FMs out. So I'm gonna jump back to step 8 again. Okay, and we're going to be putting CM screws. So I think these are. Again, these are the ones we had last week. They're still in my pot. And we're going to fit these under the wheel arches. So, the best way of doing this is probably to leave it on its side carefully. Let me adjust the camera. And if we turn the wheel, right, I'm going to prop the front up on my pillbox just so we can get access to the wheel, and the camera's going to lally. This is an absolute nightmare. I'm so sorry. This is really difficult to film. Right, you can just see there's a hole. So if you turn the wheel, that'll give you access to that hole. Yep, and there's one at the back which I'm going to do now. I'm going to extend my screwdriver. It's really handy, the screwdriver now. I've extended it quite a lot in the last 2 issues. I'm going to carefully pop the screw up there. Okay, and then hold that from the back. And unfortunately the Oreo isn't going to work for this because will that fit? No. The Oreo won't fit because obviously the shaft of it won't go up through the hole. And if Chris Camplin's watching this, I know what he's going to be giggling to himself. Okay, so I'm just going to turn this around. You can sort of see what I'm doing. So I've got my screwdriver through up into there. Okay, that's tight. There's actually quite a lot of travel on that screw. Okay, and then we need to do the same, and it's going to be hard to see, but you can just see where my screwdriver is there, hopefully. I'm going to have to get a torch. I haven't got my lamp. Trying to show you where the other screw hole is. There's another one on the front of the arch, just there where my screwdriver is. To get to that, if we turn the wheels the opposite direction, there is the hole where my screwdriver's just gone in now. See there? And we're going to put another CM screw in that hole, and it's a black screw. So I'm going to feed the screw up through there, gently try and start the screw off. Yeah. And that is tight. So I'm just going to check for any movement, and I've got none. That is solid, which is really good. Okay. So, what I'm going to do now is, before I move on, I'm going to glue the parts that I wanted to glue while we're at this stage. So, do this at your own risk, but I am doing it because I'm not totally satisfied with some of the fittings. So I'm just going to put some glue on this piece of plastic here, just so I can use it with a cocktail stick. Okay, so I've put a bit on there. Now I'm going to use my cocktail stick, coat the end of my cocktail stick, and I'm just going to go in. Now you won't be able to see this at all, but we'll have a good go at showing you where the headlight, the LED goes into the headlight. I'm not happy. It doesn't. The headlight doesn't fit, and it's right up the back here. See this the cable that's disappearing up there. That's where I'm working. And I'm just going to put some glue on the side. Where the LED meets the surround. So I'm happy that's gone in, that I've glued. So I'm just going to get my tweezers and just test that. It needs a bit more. It's a little bit like surgery. Okay, so I've put a little tiny touch of glue on there. I'm then going to proceed to glue this small relief pipe on the engine. Which is this little black piece here. Because that is still loose. If you see, I can still pull that out. So at this stage you could try and have a little fiddle with the pipes to make sure they're fitting how you like. For me, that is the best that is going to fit. Everything is where it needs to be, but it's not the greatest fit. You can just see that there's a little gap. There's nothing I can do about that by looking at that. So what I'm going to do is just get the pipe with the cocktail stick, just put a tiny amount of glue on each end. Just hold that down for a moment for the glue to do its magic. Yeah, and I'm happy with that. That is now in and secure. Okay. So that being done, I'm then going to bring you back up to normal position, because we're going to be working on the wiring now, down the length of the chassis. Okay, so fit the cables on the subframe 17A. Start by identifying the cables to be fitted. Grey and white cable labelled A, 38M, which is the black and yellow, labelled B, and 38N red and black cable labelled E. So we need A, B and E, which must be these three that we've got. It's the only three that are here, apart from the LEDs we fitted in the last issue. So we've got A, B and E. So we're going to route them along so I'm guessing this is going to have to sort of go downwards directly because of when we put like something here. So I'm going to leave enough slack there, and then we need to run these cables. I'm going to try and do it as neat as I can. Because I do like neat wires, even though you can't see them. But I'm trying to put them in the best I can. And they're going to run all the way through this groove, and then it goes down here. So, not the best job in the world, but we're getting there. I'll bring you in so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just running them down there, and then they all go into this recess here. down. Okay, I'm going to swing you round, and then it's going to go carry on all the way down the length of the chassis. This is quite difficult. We should be securing these in as we go, but we'll see roughly where it's going. Down there, through the two holes here, and then through the holes at the end. That looks about right. The magazine shows these two cables A and B quite short, and E is considerably longer, and I'm happy because that's what's matching in the magazine. See? Okay. So, with them sort of in place, we're going to take the CC1 and C2 cable link, which we got in the last issue, 41, which is this one here. Going to move you back over. And we're going to secure it to connect to these cables. So, it wants us to connect these ones here, which we left, and the ones we've just done in issue 41. Now, yeah, there is still a typo. So, this is the image. So C is correct. Okay. Now the magazine is saying for C1 to come over and connect to C1. That says C1 on there. That says C2, and it's saying C2 to connect to C2. The problem is they've got these wires the wrong way round, because one of these cables is shorter than the other. So the idea is that the longer cable comes over to this side, so that when you fit that, see what I mean? That will reach there, and then the longer cable has then got enough reach to come across the chassis and into there. So they've misprinted, they've either misprinted the magazine. No, they've mislabeled this, because the magazine's showing right. So the smaller cable in the magazine should be labelled C2, and the longer cable should be labelled C1. I hope that makes sense. So put these on opposite. So connect C2 to C1, and this C1 here to C2, and then you'll be fine. So I'm going to plug them in. They're both the same. This is just literally a splitter cable, so it will only go in one way. And then when you get a fit, you'll feel it. You might have to wiggle these around a little bit, okay? But they will only go in one way. So I'm really happy with that. Okay, and then these wires will also go in the channel with the rest of them. So I'm just going to unplug this one for a minute, because it's showing the cable actually goes on the other side of these. Okay. I'll show you. So this cable in the magazine is showing to be coming out of the right hand side of these cables, so I just wanted to amend that, and then I'll reconnect that together. Okay, and it's showing the cables in there like so, and then we'll tidy them up in a moment. So I hope you can sort of see what I've done there. Okay. So with that being done, we're then going to take the other cable, which is C, and we're going to connect that to this plug here on the splitter. This cable is going to run along the middle of the chassis, so I'm actually going to bend that back to take up some of the slack. And then that's going to fit down there and follow the rest of the cables. Now at this stage it's going to be, it's too difficult for me to be messing around with these wires, making them super neat, but I'll just sort of do it as I go, and just see how we go. So I'm sort of happy with that at the moment. It's roughly all routed how I want. So now we need the cable clips which were supplied in issue 38, and I've got them in here. I've put them in with the JP screws. So yeah, we're going to need those now. So I'm just going to pull them out. Again, this is another really long issue, and I do apologise, but it is what it is. I have to obviously cover all the steps, and it's good. It just shows you how long this issue is going to take, which is really good. It's nice to have lengthy issues. Okay, so what we're going to do, it looks like we're going to be using CM screws for this. Right, so I'm going to grab a CM screw, if I can find them, and a cable clip. So the first one I'm going to work on is the one right up here. You see those two holes, and the locating peg will actually go into the one nearest me, so the screw is going to go on the outer hole just there. So I'm just going to tuck them in. I don't think it's going to sit perfectly flush, because of the amount of cables we've got coming through. And actually, because of that, I'm not going to tighten that all the way. That isn't going anywhere. There's slightly too many wires going through there to tighten that all the way, because it's just, the more you screw this side down, it's going to lift the other side up. Okay, so then we're going to carry on routing those wires down. This is sort of going to come over to the side and sit in that on there. Okay, it's sort of going to sit like that. So these are all going to be fairly flat. Move the focus, and then we're going to put another cable clip here, and again the locating pin is going to go towards me in the smaller hole. And then with a CM screw, we'll attach that to the other side. Yeah, it doesn't want to fit. There's like too many cables really fitting through there, but that will have to do for that. It's sticking up a little bit, but the wires aren't going anywhere, so we can always address that later on if it is a problem, but I think that should be absolutely fine. Okay, so with that being done, we're going to focus our attention on the rear now, up here. So we're going to carry on I'm just going to set these cables up how I would like them. We're going to pull the rest of the cables through. Down and round through those two holes, and then we're going to do the same thing. Okay, so this time the locating pin is going to go furthest away from me, and the screw is going to go down in this corner just here where my finger is. Now they've got a deeper hole, so that does fit flush. And then with another CM screw, secure that in, and then again going to route these cables round through that last, just move that through the last channel there. And again, the screw hole is the one on the outside here, so the locating pin is going to go into the one on my left as I'm looking at it now. And a CM screw through. There we go. I'm actually really happy with those results. I think that's quite neat. So yeah, there we go. So the wires come down here. Make sure they're you leave enough slack here, so that obviously you don't want the wires trailing across here, because obviously there's going to be something, you know, you need to be able to put something on there. So wires go along there this connector sort of comes outwards and sits flat on this beam and goes back into the cable there, in the cable grip, which then goes into this adapter, the splitter. So remember, if you're doing this, swap C1 and C2 round, because you need the longer cable coming this side, as you can see here. If it's otherwise, your cable is going to sort of stretch across there, and it's not going to be right. So the longer one this side, that tucks round and sort of comes behind this part here, and then joins the loom again, where we then connect the C cable and then run all of those cables all the way down and then out the back, and then we should have something like that. So you should have A, B and C all here, and they, according to the magazine, they're all roughly the same length, which they are, give or take, but E should be longer, which it is. So I'm really happy with the results of that. Okay, the next thing we're going to do on the same step is we're going to take a GM screw, which we got in issue 41, and we're now going to attach the steering. So with the GM, we're going to load up the screwdriver, and the steering system is down here. So I'm going to use tweezers for this. So I'm going to bring the steering up, and you might want to adjust the actual steering wheel itself, and we're going to line that up on that hole just there. So the black rod of the steering will line up over that hole, and then with the GM screw secure that in. So be careful with this, because we're going through that metal rod, but we're also going into plastic. So what I'm going to do is put my hand underneath here and just put light pressure on there just to support it while I screw that in. Okay, and that's as far as I'm going with that. And then if I lift it, oh, just drop some screws. If I lift this up, yeah. If I turn the wheel in the cab, I've got steering. I say sorry for my shocking video footage. I need to do something better. Let me bring this back. So there. So I'm quite happy with that movement, and it works. And that is that part for the cab. So I'm just going to take a quick break, and then I'll be back because we've got one more step to do. Okay, I'm back with the last part now of the build. As I said, this was a very long issue this week. So we're on step 16, and we're going to be dealing with the front lower deck. So what we're going to do is take the engine cover, and we're going to just sit that in this gap here and just push that in, and that's actually, it's not supposed to be a push fit, but that actually fit quite nicely. I mean, it's not going to come out. Okay. And then what we're going to do is affix that with 4 JP screws, what we got in this issue, which is 42. So all the other screws we use were all from issue 41. This is the JP screws, I say, from this issue. So I'm just going to carefully just pop 4 JP screws in there. And there we have it.
Oh, it's a great life on the buses. There's nothing like it, you'll agree. Just take a ride up on the buses, because there's plenty you can see. Oh, it's a great life on the buses. There is no better place to meet. So why not take a look around you? No need to leave your seat.
Okay, so yeah, that was another lengthy issue, 42. I hope you enjoyed the picture I just shared. That's where we're at the moment. So really nice to get some of the front end body panels together. And we've obviously got the cab onto the chassis now, which is great. It's looking absolutely fantastic. I've got it back on the shelf now behind me, just here. And I've even sat the bonnet on for now as well. So yeah, really happy with that. Again, sorry it's a long issue, but it had to be done. So yeah, I won't keep you any longer. So until next week, take care. Please like, share, subscribe if you enjoyed the build, and if you wish to buy me coffee, there is a link in the description below. For now though, take care.